Hello and welcome once again to Hour 1. As always, I'm Charlie, and this time we're checking out the game Black Ops 3. So, a little disclosure before I get going, I will not be touching the multiplayer or the zombies in this Hour 1 because A, they would take a lot more time to dive into than Hour 1, and because I have historically not liked either of those modes. I am one of those weirdos that likes playing Call of Duty for the campaign, and I'm not ashamed to admit to this fact, I guess. I don't know. If you like Call of Duty multiplayer, I'm sure you already have this game and you're playing a lot of it. I'm sure if you like the zombies, you're probably in the same boat as the multiplayer. I'm generally not a fan of horde modes in video games. I'm also not a huge fan of just the Call of Duty multiplayer playstyle. But yeah, like I said, I'll be playing the campaign, give my thoughts on it after an hour. I'm sure the campaign will reflect the game's kind of overall functionality and stuff like that. I've actually already poked around some because I had to install the goddamn campaign in the kind of free-running mode, I guess, but we'll talk more about that whole situation later. But yeah, with that being said, though, let's get to it. Starting the timer now because I have camera control.
Copy that. Diverting traffic to runway 11. We're on it. See you at the RP.
Roger that.
They're highlighting collectibles now?
These uniforms should allow us to slip by unnoticed.
So, the opening of this Call of Duty game is I don't get to shoot things. Not of what Call of Duty's good at happening right now. I could have done that. This is almost comical at this point, the torture scenes. Like,
that's him.
I feel real bad saying that, but these are, like, if you Google the word torture, exactly what shows up, and it's like the same 2 or 3 NPC guards doing the actions. Finally, I can shoot stuff. Guns handle nice. Hey, throw grenade throwbacks back. Maybe that was the last one too. I just never used it.
Gunner up top.
Dear God, those grenades take forever. Alright, I can take an excessive amount of bullets, but not an insane amount of bullets. Got it!
That technical's mine. Give me some cover fire.
Man, I cannot wait to have super soldier parts.
Easy, hold your fire, he's mine.
Again, why did they bother sending us in when they could send in the super soldier brigade? This is ridiculous. Why would you bother sending us flesh bags in if you can send in a guy who can air tackle a tank? Or in this case, a airplane.
You didn't answer me, John. Keep up. Secondary route's just ahead.
Bet there's all kinds of good story going on right now because I'm shooting so much I can't hear it. So here's my one kind of nitpicky issue with the game at this point. I know I get Black Ops Super Soldier powers eventually, and I assume, like the last games, that means I get, like, my limbs ripped off, or chopped off, or lit on fire, and this seems like the perfect situation in which to lose all of my limbs and get a badass soldier upgrade. Alright, I heard a rumor this entire segment actually plays itself, you don't shoot anything, so let's test that out. I'm gonna die if I don't shoot things, I think, though. Or not, maybe.
Nice fucking shooting.
Okay, yeah, the game does pretty much just play itself in this segment. Okay, so aside from I guess this is a military, this is an excessive number of quote like military combat drones. Like, I don't know much about the world of militarized robots because it doesn't actually really exist yet outside of the aerial drones, but I'm willing to bet like each one of those things costs several $100,000, if not $1 million or so. Having that like 100 I just mowed down, are we fighting like some weird ass Lex Luthor bullshit right now? Now's when I get my arms ripped off and become a badass super soldier.
There's our ride. Exfil pod first pass.
Okay, maybe not just yet, but
Exfil airspace non-viable.
but when I get there, I get my arms ripped off and become a badass super soldier. Yes, I know my cynicism on the like topic of when I become a badass robot super soldier is probably a tad annoying, but when the ad campaigns are based on look how much of a badass super soldier you are, and you're not, it's a little annoying. An explanation of what the hell I'm looking at would be nice, because there's obviously some stuff going on.
At 7:31 a.m., a terrorist group detonated an explosive device on board this.
Not as good as the Kevin Spacey model from last year's.
Set back our robotics program.
That's Kevin
Several
Spacey,
years.
right? House of Cards guy?
You're here to stop.
Yeah, his model looked better. I'm a tiny, adorable tank!
Nice going. Now put it back on them and tear them up. Use your environment. Shoot down those bats.
So I can just light people on fire with my mind now.
You got this.
Alright, so that's an hour. You heard the alarm go off. So I'm enjoying my time with Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and there's a bit of an asterisk next to that, but I'll get to that as time goes on. I'm gonna nerd out a little bit on the whole cyber combat, Ghost in the Shell references I can make aspect of that, but I'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna start off with just kind of the general overall controls and stuff of the game, the basis of Call of Duty, if you will, not what this iteration brings new to the table. So, I'll start off with shooting. Feels like a Call of Duty game. It's snappy. It's a little... I always find it feels a little floaty when you're aiming. That's every Call of Duty, so that's probably just my settings or whatever. Guns are guns. You start off every mission in the campaign with a primary and a sidearm of some kind. I'm going to compare this game a bunch to Advanced Warfare because that was the last one that came out for the Call of Duty franchise, and I really enjoyed Advanced Warfare. And I think overall this game is both a step up and a step down from Advanced Warfare. A step up in the case that the cyber powers, which I'll get to in a little bit, are a lot of fun, and they are a neat continuation of the kind of future war idea of this franchise, but stuff like the guns, for better or worse, all the guns I've shot so far have felt more or less the same. They all shoot straight, they all have different scopes, etc., etc. I felt like in Advanced Warfare, where a bunch of the guns had alt fires, I had favorite guns, I had favorite like mods on them and stuff like that. Like, just playing the campaign, I had stuff I would swap out immediately for certain guns you could find that weren't like, oh, it's the LMG that shoots rockets that find your enemy and his family and murder them in their sleep. No, they were like certain scopes I like, certain alt fires, certain just little add-ons I thought were cool, added a lot to that game. At least so far I've encountered none of that stuff, which, yeah, whatever kind of thing. I personally like it. I know this is Treyarch's game, that was Black Hammer, I think, so things are different. This feels like all the other Treyarch games, which is not a bad thing or a good thing, it's just a Treyarch one. For some reason, I really enjoyed how the Advanced Warfare game handled overall, and saying there are major differences is a gross exaggeration, but from Infinity Ward to Treyarch to Black Hammer, they all feel slightly different, and I've never been the biggest fan of the Treyarch-feeling ones, and now doubly so after the Black Hammer ones. Visually, the game looks good. It's a Call of Duty game. They're always quite impressive. Again, to compare it to Advanced Warfare, I think it's a slight step back. We have another generic... We have not a generic. We have another celebrity I recognize from, like, I think Law & Order New York or something like that, and Oz, I think he was in. Like, I don't know his name. He's here. I should have looked it up or something like that. He's here. Compared to last year's Kevin Spacey model, it's not as good. Like, I go back to the Advanced Warfare just looked goddamn amazing. And this one looks good too, but it's kind of darker and muddier and lots of blinking stuff offset against darker backgrounds that make it kind of hard to see things. Like the weirdest example I can give is there was a scene where I had the subtitles on, and the console I was interfacing with made it hard to read the subtitles because the console was black with neon-colored highlights that made the subtitles blend into obscurity. It's an odd example, but it's kind of the game overall. And there are some nice environments. The snow looked good in that one mission. I think that was snow at least. Yeah, that was snow. It looks good, but there's just kind of some weird this is the future neon moments going on, which I don't find present quite as clean a look as was, again, in Advanced Warfare. Which I'm not knocking this game. It's a very different game, which, again, I will get to in a couple minutes, but again, it feels like a slight step back from Advanced Warfare. Frame rate-wise, it runs great. I don't think I've seen a drop frame, no tearing yet, etc., etc. The cutscene at the beginning, a couple of cutscenes that are back to their annoying, here's some imagery with a voiceover on top of it, but they've also had some in-game cutscenes and that are just in-engine, and then some also interactive ones, which I've always liked about the franchise. What next? I'm dancing around what I want to talk about the most. There's multiplayer for the campaign this time, which I think is a good choice on their part. The spaces are nice and big to accommodate that, and it feels nice, but again, to rewind even farther past Advanced Warfare, I'm back to Modern Warfare 1 and 2. Part of me kind of... I've yet to come across a narrow, or a tight-feeling area. Everything's felt pretty expansive, intended for 4 players. And part of what I love so much about Modern Warfare 1 and 2 was they had these nice claustrophobic, special op-feeling areas that delivered a real nice, we're not supposed to be here, we're in a nuclear silo kind of feel to it. That's a weird example to give, or a weird explanation. But I really liked that, and I hope there's more of that in this game, but given that there's branching paths, and I put some heavy air quotations around that because it's pick the right-hand side or the left-hand side or the middle sides version to cover, I don't think you're going to get those nice claustrophobic, intimate moments, I guess, with combat anymore, which I could be wrong about. I'm only an hour in after all, but I don't know. It's not feeling like this is a bombastic, over-the-top, 4-way multiplayer extravaganza in some ways. Yeah, there's split screen, which is nice. The split screen, which is nice. I guess the last one I should talk about is traversal some, which is going to be heavily compared to Advanced Warfare, and actually... No, I'll save my Destiny comparisons so we get to the cyber angle of it. So, Advanced Warfare added kind of double jumping and sprinting, and had a nice sense of feel and momentum and weight to it. This game does not. In general, I've always found the Call of Duty games, when you were running, you didn't feel like you were running. And when I was installing the campaign, yes, you have to actually install the campaign to play it. I was doing the Freerunning challenge, and the entire time it just felt sluggish and slow, and just like my character's waving his fist in front of the screen because that's what was expected of it. The Freerunning in the game is cool, like you can do some wall runs, it's really easy to pull off, it's kind of counterintuitive how easy it is to pull off. Like, I feel like there should be more button to it, but that's just me. There's double jumping, there's extending your jumping, which I haven't unlocked yet, but it was in the Freerunning multiplayer stuff. There's some nice wall combat you can do. Like, the game handles nicely when it's doing its weird stuff. But to compare it to Titanfall, the most obvious examples that Advanced Warfare is put up against, Titanfall and Advanced Warfare had a really nice sense of momentum to them, and this one doesn't. Like, you do these things because the game tells you to. Maybe there's some crazy stuff popping off in multiplayer, but where I liked the traversal and was looking forward to kind of bunny hopping about and stuff like that in Advanced Warfare, this one, the power sliding's gone, which was my favorite little details of that, and going from that to this, it feels a little, I don't know, lackluster is the wrong word, but it feels, traversal's not as good as Advanced Warfare, so I'll just leave it at that. So, The cyber powers, the ghost in the shell aspect of this game, the most intriguing aspect of this game, I'm willing to bet is in multiplayer, but in a kill streak kind of way, or in a very toned back kind of way, because holy crap is it fun, but holy crap is it overpowered. And it reminds me a lot of a game called Syndicate that EA put out I think it was EA put out a couple years ago. That was this mix of kind of hacker superpowers and FPS combat. This game does the FPS combat a hell of a lot better than that game did, and in some ways it does the hacker superpowers a lot better too. Every time you use one, it does exactly what you think it's going to do. It feels responsive. There's a slight recharge on them. The powers are different. I've unlocked hacking turrets, freezing cyber things in their place, spouting out, they call them fireflies, but they might as well be bee swarms, and lighting robots on fire. And you can swap between them as long as you have them equipped, I guess. I'm worried about there's a loadout system later on in the game, which is cool, and I'm digging it, but it feels very Ghost in the Shell, but not quite Ghost in the Shell enough. The game touches on some concepts like Ghost in the Shell, like you can hack people's brains to download them and get information, etc., which is cool. And it adds a nice level to the game, but I can't help feeling that in some weird way, this game is trying really hard to compete with another Activision title known as Destiny. And before I get too deep down this one, comparing Destiny and this game is a weird one, except for the fact that both are first-person shooters that feature powers. And while the powers in this one are very tactical and snappy and localized, while in Destiny it's a melee, a special type of grenade, and literally like a rain fire down upon them super move, the comparison is not that far-fetched. It feels very much like they're trying to chase a different crowd than necessarily the normal Call of Duty crowd. And my example to this is, again, Advanced Warfare had cyber augmentations like ballistic shields, grappling hooks, etc., etc. You could use in interesting combat scenarios. This game has a bunch of those, and then it has legit superpowers, as I mentioned earlier. And that's not a problem, except for the fact that when you compare it against other games that have first-person superpowers, they are not superpowered enough. And to go back to it, as a nice Ghost in the Shell feel, they feel very practical and cyber and cyberpunky in some ways, which is cool, and it fits well with the overall tone of this game, but I wish it was more like, I'll say it again, I wish it was more like Advanced Warfare and less trying to do its exact own thing. That's a shitty thing to say about a game, because some of these powers are cool, but they feel really situationally useful, and I don't know. It's a strange thing to compare it to. Like, I genuinely liked Advanced Warfare overall that I'm liking Black Ops 3. And Black Ops 3 is really cool. It's got some neat stuff going on. But, like, little things like the fact that the first three of the 4 missions of this game, you haven't been in the real world. It's some kind of newbie orientation. It just seemed kind of, I don't know, like, I liked the fact the first mission was you didn't have superpowers, but also hated the fact you didn't have the superpowers. In Advanced Warfare, you had your exo. You got better exos throughout the game and better powers, and it was a showcase of that. This is very much a, hey, go do some combat scenarios, here's some tech powers. I'm willing to bet that once you play through this, you unlock all the tech powers and you can go play with your friends and kind of fuck stuff up, but you're not going to want to because there's no real reason to replay any of this stuff once you've beaten it, which then goes back to the Destiny comparison, where Destiny has collectibles, it has an economy that makes you go back and redo some stuff for better or worse. The best thing I can say, the worst thing I can say about this game is it is another Call of Duty game that seems kind of caught between being a a Treyarch Call of Duty game, trying to take some stuff from Destiny, and trying to take some stuff from Advanced Warfare without being Advanced Warfare. It's not a great center point of a triangle to be, but it's a very enjoyable center part of a triangle. So it's in no means a bad game. I've really enjoyed it. I've had some graphical issues, like I couldn't see my subtitles because of the neon-y background and stuff, but overall I'm having a lot of fun, and that's all you care about when you buy a Call of Duty game in many ways. If you like Call of Duty, you probably already have this game. If you're on the fence, but you'll pick this one up, this isn't Ghost, this isn't one of the bad ones. It's a lot of fun. I'm having fun with it. If you're playing it just for the campaign like I am, rent it. You'll burn through in a couple hours, or wait for it to go down in price, or wait for the next year's to come up, because that definitely drops down the price on this one. It's fun. There's some cool stuff here. The cyberpunk angle is quite cool. If you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell and you've never played a Call of Duty game, play this one. There's Ghost in the Shell bullshit in here, and it's really cool. It might be the best Ghost in the Shell game we've ever gotten. It's definitely better than Syndicate was, but yeah. With that being said, though, I gotta go finish this VR mission.
Hostile bots coming through the walls. We're clear. Deactivate your EV.
Something Wicked Studios.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up down below, you share us with all your friends, and you subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for more videos right now, we've got a whole bunch of ones all over the channel you can get to by the links below. If you hit the random button, I promise to send you to a good one. You know you want to. Press it. Press it.